Hey everybody, Rory McDonald, Macdon and Associates coming to you with the next episode of Tuesdays with Rory in 2026. And I thought, what better way to kick off the year than to start by sharing the 16 financial truths that I wish that I knew earlier in life. And the reason why I'm having this topic, these 16 topics, these 16 things coming up, and I'm going to have individual kind of episodes, if you will, about each one of these things. It'll be shorter, but longer than what you're going to see in this video. But the reason why these 16 things is because these are the 16 truths that I believe will quietly decide your future when it comes to finances. And going into 2026, I know a lot of us out there have financial goals that we are trying to achieve. And I thought, what better way? Hopefully, this is a resource to somebody when it comes to you buying a house, securing your family's financial future. Maybe it's in business, maybe it's in investing, whatever it might be. I thought, what better way for me to start this year than by sharing this information with you guys? So these are the 16 financial truths that I wish I had learned earlier. The very first truth: debt is a silent prison. I'm going to say it again. Debt is a silent prison. Here's the biggest thing that I would say with this. Debt doesn't shout, it whispers until it eventually completely owns you. Some of you might have experienced that. Maybe that's with mortgage debt or credit card debt or school debt, cars, whatever it might be. But you don't notice these things until all of a sudden it's on your back and you're trying to carry it around, and it's unbelievably, incredibly difficult. Debt has a tendency to steal future income before you ever even earn it, which is really, really difficult and very frustrating. Most people normalize debt because everyone around them has it. My friend has this, my friend has that. We just got this, we just got that. And they normalize the debt that they see around them. And so they normalize them taking on that exact same debt. Another thing that it does is it removes freedom. Freedom completely disappears. And maybe not all at once, but payment by payment, you're going to end up losing freedom, which we're going to get to that a little bit later on in here too. One of the ways that my family, we're big Dave Ramsey people in our house. We love to eliminate debt, specifically consumer debt. Not all debt is bad, but majority of debt is. But consumer debt, we were in a position where we had some consumer debt in our family. We had some student loans within our family between my wife and I. And we thought, you know what? We need to put our heads down and we need to get rid of this. And so we spent the better part of about 2 years just plugging away. And it was a slow marathon process that we thought, you know what? This is worth it. This is going to take time. It's going to be difficult, but it's going to be worth it. So we did a lot of things. We changed a lot of things about our lifestyle. We changed how we ate. We changed where we ate. We changed where we got coffee. A lot of it was coming from home at that point. We changed a lot of things in our lives in order to put us in a position to eliminate debt within our lives. And so maybe that's you. Maybe that's how you're starting this year. You're like, hey, I need to get rid of some of this debt. I would highly suggest checking out Dave Ramsey. There's a ton of resources within that, and really plug in, dig in hard. A lot of churches in the area too have Dave Ramsey classes and options for you to plug into. Highly suggest doing it and run hard after eliminating that debt. Financial truth number 2. Here it is. You ready? Always live below your means. This has a lot to do with the first one when it comes to debt, but debt doesn't necessarily mean that you're living below your means. And living below your means doesn't necessarily mean that you have debt. The biggest thing that I can say in this is income growth without expense discipline is an absolute illusion. And what I mean by that is you can have income increasing and you can be outspending what it is that you're bringing in on a daily basis. And then all of a sudden you get this increase in pay and, oh my gosh, I don't even have the money to be able to afford the things that I'm doing. I saw a stat recently that the average American spends 104% of what it is that they actually make. Then you get an increase and that money's already taken up. It really doesn't help. Couple additional kind of just thoughts that I had. Lifestyle creep is often hides behind this like idea of you deserve this. You don't. It's just a reality. You don't. There's nothing in this life that you deserve. You might work hard for it. It doesn't mean that you deserve it. It can be taken away in an instant. Keeping expenses flat raises real power. Here's what I mean by that. You've got fixed expenses within your household. You know that they're going to stay at that amount. Do everything they can to stay at that amount. The more that you eliminate those things, the more that you remove those or change them over to being flat expenses, the more you have power over your budget, which we're going to get into budget here in a little bit. Last one, wealth is created in the gap between where your income and your spending are. So if you have a fixed income, let's say, and you have money going out, you have a budget and where money goes out. It's in between those two things is where you're going to actually find wealth and find growth within your bank account, quite honestly. So be focusing on that too. So always be living below your means. That's point number two. Financial truth number three: an emergency fund for you and your family is a non-negotiable. A non-negotiable. You have to have one. You have to get one. You have to do everything possible to make sure that you have one. Stability is built before opportunity arises. You have to be stable. And the reality is emergencies are predictable. We know that they're going to happen in any given year. Any family runs into some sort of emergency, whether that's a hospital visit, a car accident, an issue with a roof. Like, go down the list. You're going to run into emergencies. It is going to happen. They're predictable, even if the timing is not predictable. Emergency funds are the ability to kind of prevent any panic that sets in when it comes to these problems coming up, these emergencies coming up. And the cash gives you negotiating power when it comes to life too. So if a couple years ago, we ran into a roof issue at our house, had a bunch of quotes come over. I had emergency funds set up, and it gave us the ability to now go to whoever the contractor was and say, listen, I'm paying cash for this. So I don't want to pay your price. What's the cash price? And I was able to talk down some of these contractors, some of these roofers, on what they were doing for our home, what they were fixing within our home. I was able to talk them down due to that. So having an emergency fund set up, an established funded emergency fund, is huge, to the point of being a non-negotiable. You got to have an emergency fund. Point number 4: invest early, not when you're ready. And here's what I mean by that. Like, if I could give you a core message from this, it is: readiness is overrated. Timing is irreplaceable. If you go and you look at, you're able to pull up different information on this, but if you look at somebody who's investing, $10,000 a month, and I know that's like a huge number, but imagine you're investing, for the sake of round numbers, you're investing $10,000 a month at the age of 25, and you stop by the time you get to 35. And somebody at 35 starts investing $20,000 a month all the way through until retirement. Because of compounding interest, you're going to be in a better place being a person who invests at 25 years old and being early in the market than you will be being somebody who's investing potentially even more on a monthly basis later in the market. So, like I said, you need to get in early, not just when you're ready. Compounding rewards consistency, not just intelligence. Compound interest is a real thing. The sooner you get in, doesn't mean you need to hit big on a certain investment. It just means you got in early. You're ahead of everybody else. Small and early investments will always outperform big late ones. Always get in early. Sometimes waiting feels really, really safe too, but truthfully, it costs more and it creates more of a mistake. So getting involved early is a huge, huge, huge thing. Invest early, not just when you're ready. Point number 5 of the 16 truths that I wish I knew earlier is, and this is going to cause some controversy because I am a real estate agent. I work here in Michigan. I sell homes. Reality is I need to care about people before I care about the houses that I'm selling. So this is going to cause some controversy, especially to all you real estate agents out there. Renting is sometimes smarter than buying. I know that might be hard to hear, but ownership without margin is stress disguised as success. I'm going to say that again. Ownership without margin is stress disguised as success. You need to really dig in and look at what your budget is to know that buying a house, although, yes, I hear people all the time, they say, I'm paying $1,500 a month. And if I was paying $1,600 or $1,500 a month and it was my own home, I wouldn't be paying somebody else's mortgage down. You are correct. But you also have to keep in mind, if the furnace breaks, is now your responsibility, not the landlord. If the roof goes bad, it's your responsibility, not the landlord. Landscaping, cutting the grass, all the things that you might not have to think about being a renter are now your responsibility. So you need to be thinking about that. Home ownership does add risk, not just equity. It does add equity, but it also risk comes with the ability to gain equity. You need to keep that in mind. Renting can buy flexibility during growth years. So if you renting and you buying is right around the same cost of you monthly, it might actually make more sense for you to rent, knowing that when the time does come, you're ready to purchase. You've got the funds. You're able to save up and you're able to be prepared for that. You do need to know that there's a good chance that the prices of homes go up during that time. But if you're not ready, you're not ready. Don't rush the process in order to look like Joe next door. You need to be ready for that. Buying too early can delay wealth for decades. I've seen this before, with clients in the past and other agents that I've talked to, where people end up buying a house and it puts them in a position where they're just house poor. They put themselves in a spot where they bought a house thinking, preparing for the 3 or 4 kids that they were planning on having, and they never got to that point because the raises didn't come at the time frame that they thought that they would, and because of that, they couldn't afford to have a 3rd and 4th kid. So you need to be preparing for that too. Financial truth number 6, multiple streams of income equals survival. I'm going to say that again. Multiple streams of income equals survival. One income stream is a single point of failure. If you have a job, your 9 to 5, whatever it is if that is your sole source of income, not a bad thing, but you need to add something to that, because if something changes, you have a new boss come in, you have restructuring that happens at the company, God forbid layoffs happen. They happen all the time, but let's pretend it's you. That has the ability to change a lot of things. And that one sole source of income that you had is now completely gone potentially. So find some skills. Skills create income faster than an asset at first. So maybe it's cutting lawns, maybe it's shoveling snow, maybe it's doing a side job of roofing. Especially if for a lot of the young, single people out there. Honestly, there is no reason why you guys shouldn't be out there getting a second job and doing everything that you can to save up as much as possible and find that second or potentially third stream of income to where now this whole source is where money's coming in. I have a really good friend. I won't name his name, but he used to work for Ford, started a company doing landscaping, and was killing it, was doing really, really well, to the point where it eventually got to the point that he stepped out of his full-time job over at Ford, where he had benefits, he had a 401k, had all these amazing things. Stepped out of that and into his side hustle became his main hustle, and he is absolutely crushing it, making $500,000 a year, has 7 or 8 employees. He's doing really, really well. But if he had not pushed in to start of having a second source of income, a second stream of income, he never would have found that. And I would guarantee if you talk to this person, he will say he's so much happier in what it is that he's doing now than what he was previously. So go find it. What is your multiple, so your second, third, fourth stream of income in 2026? Financial truth number 7, save first, spend what's left. I know that might be hard to hear. Save first, spend what's left, but you got to keep in mind, you got to be focusing on, like the last point, finding a second stream of income. Save first, then go and spend what is remaining. What gets automated oftentimes gets done. And so if you work this practice into your household where X number, let's say $10,000 comes in, and you're automatically taking, even if it's just $500 of that and putting it away and saving it, you're going to save $6,000 a year. And that's like bare bones. That's just off the top. Now you're living off of the 9,500. The moment that becomes automated and that's a regular practice that you're doing, it becomes really, really easy to get done. Paying yourself first removes the decision fatigue too. Like can we do this trip? Can we make this X decision? Can we buy the new car? Whatever it might be, you're living off of the less. You're doing that. And if you have a practice of knowing this is what we're living off of because we're paying ourselves first, it changes how you look at your budget when it comes time to go get a new car. Maybe now you're looking at the used one that's a little bit less, but has a little bit more miles, but it's a lot cheaper. And instead of the brand new one that's right off the lot that you're paying an absolute premium for. It also puts you in a position where you're able to spend without any guilt on it too. So sometimes I can remember back when I first got married, it was difficult. Whenever it is that we go on vacation, there was a little bit of guilt attached with it because I knew there was a portion of this vacation that we can't afford. I've got to throw this on credit. I've got to pay this off a few weeks later when I get back home from this vacation, and it brings guilt a little bit. But when you're in the process of saving for those things prior to, there's no guilt attached to it anymore. It makes it very freeing. So save first, spend what's left. Point number 8, and this is a big one, and this is for everybody out there. Truthfully, this is one that everybody should be looking into and really digging into as much as they can, and that is insurance is wealth protection. And I'm not focused on like your home and auto right now. I'm not focused on your business insurance. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is life insurance. Insurance transfers catastrophic risks. So we made the decision in our home. I have a life insurance policy. I have a life insurance policy on my wife as well. That way, God forbid something happens to me, I know that my wife is okay. Reality is I'm the breadwinner in my house. I'm making the money so that our family can do what we need to do. If something happens to me, she's not having the same income coming in anymore. So I need to transfer that risk. If something happens to me now, I know that there's a catastrophic. I know that there's an insurance policy that now covers in the case of my death or in the case of me being injured while at work or outside of work, depending on how your policy works. It's going to cover me. It's going to take care of me. Um, Protecting kind of the downside allows bold upside plays too. So if part of having an emergency fund, like what I like to focus on is having a 6-month emergency fund. That's where I want to be. That's what I'm focused on. If I have 6 months of emergency fund and something happens, it's catastrophic. I know that I can live for 6 months without working at all. All my bills are paid. Everything is good. And we trim it down. Like Netflix is gone at that point. We're paying for the essentials, but I know that if something were to happen, I'm covered at that point. But what happens after those 6 months? That's where all these other types of policies really come in. And if you're looking for somebody about that information, reach out to us here at Macdon and Associates. We're associated with a really, really amazing insurance company called Royal Oath Insurance, and they specialize in this kind of stuff. So happy to connect you guys with them too. But remember, insurance is wealth protection. Point number 9. Your network is worth more than your net worth. I'm going to say it again. I know I'm repeating a lot of these, but I'm going to keep doing it. Your network is worth more than your net worth. Here's the big thing I could say to this. Relationships compound faster than money will. You would be unbelievably surprised the amount of people that I've had the opportunity to come across with. And some of you watching this might exactly feel the exact same way. And that is you have one conversation with one person, and it seems like everything in your own personal business changes because of how you think and how you're operating things, or an opportunity comes along and you decide to do business with somebody else. It is huge. Keep your network close to you. You need to be able to trust them, obviously, but keep them close to you. Opportunity often travels through people, not just through resumes. It's about who you know, not what you know. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Trust will always beat credentials, and isolation is very expensive. If you're trying to do this alone, it is hard. You need to have a network of people around you and a community around you so that you can run further, not just run faster. Number 10, this one will be a fun one for all my car dealers out there and people who love collecting cars. Cars are absolute money pits. They're not bad. It's not a bad thing to have a nice car. It's okay, but transportation shouldn't compete with your investments. If you have the opportunity to invest in something, whether that be a home, an investment property, stocks, like go down the list, whatever it might be, and you're choosing to purchase a car, it's not a really great decision. And the reason for that is you can guarantee in the purchase of a car, whether that be new or used, luxury or your typical car that's driving around Metro Detroit right now in Michigan, depreciation is guaranteed. That thing is not going up in value. It's going to go down unless you're buying like a couple $1 million car that you can guarantee is going to go up, which is very difficult to find, let alone afford. It's difficult. Flashy purchases often mask insecurity too. It's just a reality. I see this a lot within the real estate world. People driving around Lamborghinis and Ferraris that, like, quite honestly, why are you doing that? I can pull up into a any house within the state of Michigan, any luxury home in the state of Michigan, and my Ford F-150, that most of the times, if you've ever worked with me, has dirt all over it because I live on a dirt road. And I know, because of the confidence that I'm walking in with, because of the team that I have behind me, the community that I have behind me here at Macdon Associates and Royal Oath Insurance, I know that I'm the best person to be hired for this job. The Lamborghini or the Ferrari is not going to push me over the edge, and I can guarantee that. It's a really, really big thing. For those of you, typical 9 to 5 situation, maybe you're looking for a car right now. My suggestion for you, uh, reliability always equals repeatable progress. So focus on reliability when it comes to a vehicle, not necessarily the flashy big thing that you think is going to make you look good. Number 11, and this is coming from a big Dave Ramsey point of view, and that is budgeting is freedom. It's not restriction. Clarity will always beat the guesswork every single time that you're trying to work out something in your finances. You absolutely need to have a budget. What can you afford? What are you focused on? What can you afford as far as a mortgage payment, a car payment, all of those things? You need to know that on a daily basis to know what it is that you need to make and how much you can be saving in order to make your budget work. A budget exposes priorities too. This is kind of a wake up call for me. I noticed a couple years ago, not just a couple years ago, but going into, quite honestly, the holiday season, I noticed how often I was going out to eat, how often I was stopping at gas stations and getting a pop or an energy drink or a candy bar, whatever it was, how often I was doing that. And I realized how much I was prioritizing my own like quick fix dopamine hit of sugar over being able to take my son out to a movie. Like when you go an entire month and you realize going out to eat has cost you $300, what could you do? How could you invest in your family? How could you invest in yourself? Whether that be in relationships or in actual finances, what else could you have invested in if you had not focused on kind of the quick hit fix of what your priority is in that moment? Awareness alone in your budget will absolutely change your behaviors. Same instance with me. Like we changed everything when I realized where our budget was sitting and how much I was spending going out to eat and doing things like that. And quite honestly, kind of to wrap this up, freedom comes from knowing where your limits are. Um, you're going to know what it is. It feels restrictive because you're going, I don't know, I can't go out to eat now. I can't go out and hang out and get drinks with my friends or do whatever it is. But yes, but is that worth you being in a position where now you've got a year's worth of credit card debt over the course of a couple months? Do you want to deal with that? It opens up freedom in the long term instead of just focused on the short term, which is one night out. It's a huge change. So budgeting is freedom. It's not just restriction. Number 12, inflation is a silent thief. Standing still financially is moving backwards. Reality is inflation is continuing to go up. It doesn't seem to be matter who the president is. The prices of things might be fixed right now, depending on your viewpoint when it comes to politics and what things are happening. Um, but the reality is income is kind of staying the same at the moment, which means things are eventually going to go up. This is the new norm. A $30,000 car is not a $30,000 car anymore. It's a $50,000 car. And a $200,000 house is not a $200,000 house anymore. It's a $250,000 house. But your income hasn't changed the same rate. It's just a reality. It's the new world that we're living in. And we need to be prepared for that and focused on that, knowing that that's the case. Cash is safety. It's not just strategy. Cash is safety. It's not just strategy. Again, this comes back to your emergency fund. You got to have something in there in order for you to be in a position to be able to protect yourself should something end up happening. Assets preserve purchasing power too. So if you're in the position of going, hey, I know that I'm going to be buying a house this year, that is an asset. That is something that is going to appreciate in value faster than your cash will. Your cash is going to lose value at a faster rate than pretty much everything else around you. The value of things is going up and it's going to continue to do so. Inflation punishes fear disguised as caution. Inflation punishes fear disguised as caution. That's the best way that I could put it. Inflation is a real thing. It's a silent thief, and you guys need to know that it exists. You need to make changes in order to fight against it. Number 13. This is for all my married people out there, or anybody who plans on being married. Marriage and money go hand in hand. Financial misalignment, it erodes intimacy and relationship within your marriage more than anything else. I want to say it's like 60 or 70% of marriages fail due to money issues. I know people personally who have run into this exact problem where issues have come up due to finances, and it has led to them deciding that they want to split. It's a real thing. Doesn't mean that you should, but it's a real thing. It does end up happening. Money reflects your values too. It shows where you spend your time, where you spend your energy, where you spend your effort. It's money's a big thing, and it's important to know that going into a marriage. Avoiding money talks doesn't avoid money problems. Avoiding money talks does not avoid money problems. When you are in the process of getting married, or maybe you already are and you haven't had these conversations, you need to have a money conversation with your spouse on a very regular basis. My wife and I, we call it Marriage Mondays. Every Monday we sit down and we talk through our budget for the month, or for the month, and we talk through our schedule and what we're spending money on for the week. We do it every single week, just as a means of being on the same page and knowing what it is that we're going after. And then we also have goals too. We have goals as a family that we want to do. We have investing goals. We have investing in real estate goals. We have plans when it comes to the business. We have plans when it comes to being a family. And reality is all of those things take money. And so we need to be on the same page. So Rory cannot go to the store and spend money going out to eat or on hunting stuff or whatever when we have plans as a family to take a trip to Florida, when we have plans as a family to financially secure our future by buying some investment properties or investing more into the stock market. I can't do those things if I'm out and I'm spending money on other stuff. And so getting us on the same page on a weekly basis is a huge, huge help. So I'd highly suggest that you guys do that. Number 14, and this I would highly suggest you talk to a CPA on this, and that is taxes matter more than income. Gross income is absolutely irrelevant when it comes to no strategy. If you have no strategy when it comes to your taxes, you don't know what what you can write off, what you can depreciate. You have no clue of that stuff. You need to hire a CPA. Anybody out there who, honestly, anybody, I think everyone should be hiring a CPA to do their taxes and not be doing it themselves. If you're doing it yourselves, I can guarantee you're doing something wrong and you're going to be audited. Or number two, and this is even bigger, you're paying too much in taxes. And quite honestly, our government, regardless of the administration, doesn't need another nickel of your money. Go hire somebody. It is worth every dollar that you spend on hiring somebody to do that. System rewards education, not just effort. So I can work my tail off and I can make $500,000 more dollars or whatever it is. Reality is I'm going to be taxed more on that. I need to know and I need to be educated on how to allocate that money and how to diversify that money or how to put that money in certain accounts in order for me to be in a position now where I'm paying less in taxes due to that. It's paramount. It's a huge thing. Structure will always beat your salary. Again, talk to your CPA or an accountant about this, but this is a huge thing. Most people end up overpaying on their insurance. Excuse me. Most people end up overpaying simply due to ignorance. They just don't know. I need to make more money. Well, you make more money and you're going to put yourself in a different tax bracket. Now you're focused on, you're actually paying more than had you had made just a little bit less. So you need to talk to your CPA about that. But taxes matter. They matter a ton. And you need to dig into this very, very deeply, especially tax season is right now. So focus on your taxes. Number 15, wealth is built slowly. Speed kills wealth. So many times I talk to people and there's like get rich quick themes that are out there, schemes that pop up out of nowhere. And it's like this fast, like you can get rich quick. And so often I see people months from then in a position where it was a total waste of time. And they're looking at their spouse or they're looking at anybody else who warned them and said, don't do this. And they're going, man, I wish I would have listened to you. So if you're ever in a position where you're going, man, if I do this, I'm going to be rich in 6 months. I'm going to be rich in 6 years. No. This is a long play. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Getting wealthy is putting yourself in a position where you're going to look different 10 years from now. And that's a short amount of time. It's more like 20 or 30 years from now. Things are going to be drastically different for you. Consistency compounds invisibly. Just some other quick things. Boring systems outperform exciting gambles. They always will. Avoiding ruin matters more than hitting home runs. So playing it safe sometimes when it comes to building wealth, not always, but majority of the time going to put you in a better position than trying to hit hard on that crypto or hit hard on that stock or whatever it might be. Play it safe, be smart, play for the long haul, and be focused on what life looks like at 60 years old, not in 6 years from now. Last one, and this is kind of what all of this is kind of culminating around. I talk to a lot of people in the church, outside of my church, and oftentimes I hear people talk about others in business and really, quite honestly, just in the United States and how money hungry United States citizens come across of like, I just need to make more. I just need to do more. I just need to make more. Oftentimes we put our focus on the money, and I can understand where people are coming from. And it's not the money we're chasing, though. I just want to be really clear on that. At least in my house, money buys freedom. It doesn't buy happiness. It just doesn't. No amount of dollars is going to make me more happy, but freedom will. Freedom will make me more happy. And if I'm in a position that I can work 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, whatever it might be out of the year and take 2 months off because I've made my salary and then some in those 10 months, now I can spend 2 whole months with my children or my family traveling, doing whatever. That's going to make me much happier than it will just knowing that I made more money. Money's a tool. It's not a destination. Time is the true currency. That is what I need more of. I need more time. If I was able to add 2 more hours to my day, the amount of things that I would get done, the amount of relationships that I would be able to build upon would be monumental. Reality is we don't have that. You can always make more money. It doesn't end up making you happier. But if you had more time, how would things change? Financial independence reduces fear. If you're able to put yourself in a spot where you're independent financially completely, and you're able to be self-sustaining like a retired person who's worked their tail off to be in that position, you're going to be very independent and you're going to have a lot less fear. Last piece here, freedom ends up clarifying your purpose too. When you're in a spot that you are working your tail off and you see the future, you know where it is that you're headed, and now you have the free time to actually go out and accomplish the things that God has put on your heart. Now you have purpose behind it. Now you have reason behind it. Now, because you can see that in the future, it makes it a heck of a lot easier to focus and do that now when you're not even in that spot. So my wife and I, we're followers of Jesus. I've said this on here multiple times. And if you've ever met with me, you know that we love people. We want people to know who Jesus is. And I know that if I had more time, more freedom as far as time in the future, I would be in a position where I'd be able to share more about him and for him with other people. Now, reality is the time that I have here at work, I could be doing that here too. I'm going to do that. It completely shifts everything when you start looking at it that way. What would life look like? Who would I share things with? What would I be doing if I'm 65 and I'm retired? How would I be acting? Start doing that now within your own personal business and your own personal life and within your family and community too. Every decision that you make with money is a vote for the life that you're going to live later. I'm going to say that again. Every decision that you make with money is a vote for the life that you're eventually going to live down the road later on in life. I'm very, very happy to be able to share this with you guys. Hopefully this impacted you. Like I said, I'm going to try and split these up into several different podcasts where I go into each single point, each one of these financial truths. And I do, 5 to 10 minute quick podcasts on each one of them. Just kind of share this with you. And if there's anybody out there, maybe you've experienced some of these things, whether that's, experiencing a budget for the first time, paying off debt, establishing an emergency fund, investing, whatever it might be. I want to talk to you. I want to connect with you because the reality is there's a lot of people out there who might listen to this and go, yeah, that sounds really good, Roy, but not me. It's not possible. I can't do that. That can't be me. It just can't happen. You don't understand. You don't get our situation. I think you'd be very, very surprised the amount of people out there in the world, and heck, even just here in Metro Detroit, who have been in the exact same position as you have, and they dug themselves out of it because they saw the vision at the end of their life, and they did everything possible in their being to pull themselves closer to that. And so I'd love to be able to share that with you guys. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, I am able to connect with a few people and get into that. But very thankful if you stuck around for the entire podcast. I know this is a little bit longer one, but thankful for you, excited for what it is that you are going to do and what God is going to do in your life in 2026. Very thankful for you guys. Besides that, you guys have a very blessed day. We'll see you.